Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha. Wake up, wake up. Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Jana Randana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Punjabi Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Punjabi Hari Krishna, Hari Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hare, Hari Rama, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hare, Hari Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Kalug Dharma Hari Nam Sankirtan Yagya Ki. Jai Gaur Premanande. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajikacharya Ashtadarasta Shishmatrin Goswami Abhaicharananda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajikacharya Ashtadarasta Shishmatrin Goswami Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Vrantarat Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana Ki Jai. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Wonderful to be with all of you today. It's such a nice, wonderful house Prabhupada constructed. Huh? So many rooms. Huh? You can go and everywhere you can find the room of such a big house. And so many brothers and sisters. So nice to see you after many, many lifetimes again. So long time didn't see you. Yes, so true. And we will read today from Instructions to Civilized Human Being, chapter, text number 25. It's actually key secret in spiritual life. How many of you would like to become enthusiastic in spiritual life? Very nice, but not utsahamai, you know, because utsahamai means haribol, 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 haribol. You know, square number one. Srila Prabhupada used to say, you know, in airport, sometimes people came to meet him in airport. And Haribol, 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 Haribol. And Prabhupada came out and so many Haribols around. Huh? Who is distributing my books? And one devotee far away, everybody jumping, but he was distributing books. And somebody said, Srila Prabhupada, see, that such and such are distributing books. And Prabhupada said, oh, he understood. He understood. It's nice to have some Haribol, that's okay. But real enthusiasm, not just for Guru Puja only. All our life should become a lecture. All our life should become the lecture. And it's easy to jump for a few years. But to make our life in such a way so people can ignite themselves by coming in touch with all of you. That's the secret. True. Because as Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that who is a devotee? Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, when devotees from Kulia, they came to Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri, to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they asked him, who is devotee? Who is devotee? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for continuous years, he gave different answers. Sometimes he said that those who are chanting only once Hare Krishna, he is devotee. Another time he said, well, somebody who can see somebody and remember Krishna, he is devotee. So how to make our life in such a way, not the show, but to change our life, and charity starts from our own home. Right? That's like in Hindi they say, Prachar bhojan ka dakkar. Aap khud khaya, this is preaching. Khali pet na bhajan gopala le lo apna kanthi mala. Apna pet mein kuch hai hi nahi na kya? That's why it starts from our own stomach. Ramji ka chire, Ramji ka khet, khub khao chire barbar ke pet. So we have to be completely sukham kar tumhare, happy. And what preaching means, we are distributing overflow, you know, overflow, and always whatever coming out from the motor. But you know, giving example, we have them on the top of this building, right? That's why water going to toilets and kitchens, because every day to get water over there, we have the pump, and must be somebody who's pressing button.
and this pump is just pumping water in the tank, so it will be available for so many people. But there is problem. Sometimes pump is there, some engine is there, but no electricity. Do you have in Bangalore load shedding sometimes? Nothing, especially at night. In Nepal, we had, can you imagine? In Nepal, we had 20 hours load shedding some years ago when Maoist war was there. 20 hours, no electricity, only four hours to charge your mobile at night, they used to give. And people have to live like that. And they were happy, no problem. And I realized that Hindu people, they're most tolerant people. Seriously. I was traveling different places, different countries. In Hong Kong, for example, if electricity will go for 1 minute, it will be like crores rupees of damage to the country's economy. So much business will collapse. Just 1 minute, somebody told me. Therefore, if you can go to Hong Kong, US, so much light everywhere, necessary or unnecessary. But 1 second, if people start to freak out, they start to get disturbed. But in Nepal, 20 hours, no problem. No pension, no tension. So therefore, this is life, Sukha, dukkha, sita, ushna, mamti tiksha bharat. So this is motor, but sometimes no electricity. Motor is there, tanki is there, pipe is there, but no electricity. What to do? Nothing works. Sometimes another problem comes. Electricity is there, motor is there, but no water supply. Sometimes municipality water just somewhere, some repairing going on. There is no water. You put no water coming. Have you had this? Sometimes motor getting hot, but no water coming. What's the point? Sometimes water supply plenty, like cow, giving so much milk, but cow doesn't have strength to suck it. It's sick. So cow are getting some poison inside. It's becoming like pus because milk stagnated inside. So surgical operation required. They have to take it by hands because cow is weak enough to suck the transcendental knowledge from senior cow, right? Something like that. So there is no electricity. Sometimes there is no water. Sometimes what happened? Tanky broken. You pumping water like profusely going, but problem is a crack in the tanky, and the water without even reaching 10 centimeters, not filling up. It's going out, so there is no pressure. No, listening, lectures, listening, dancing, Haribol, but nothing is there. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, one disciple came, Gurudev, for so many years I'm chanting snake, hiri, brum, brum, snake, hiri, brum, brum. Nothing happens. I'm not enthusiastic. What to do? I'm not happy. The joke, I always tell this joke, no? One devotee, from Bangalore, he was chanting mantra for many, many years. And then all of a sudden, one day, noise in his door. What is that? He opened, 3 Yamadutas standing. I was going to say, Tilak. I was scared, eyes like Jagannath. And this Yamaduta said, no. Address way hai na, Chitragupta Devi. So they checked the address, everything matching. So why did you come? I have kanti, I have tilak, everything. Yamaraj told that those who have tilak, nobody should come very far away from them. This guy is, Sakrideva Prasannaya. So this is, no. Why? No, you were only calling us all life. My name is Shnik, he's Hiri and he's Broom. Because we are too much busy, What we are chanting, I don't know. Something broken there. Like that. When you're dialing mobile telephone, one number is wrong, your destination different. But when you're flying at the flight from New York to Tehran, and as I said, if you can just miscalculate on this, autopilot, this navigation system, 1 millimeter, just 1 millimeter Your flight from New York will come to Moscow. Not to, just a little bit mistake. So similarly, when some tanki is broken, Matirna Krishne Paratosvato Vamitho Vipadita Griha Bratanam Adanta Gobhir Vishatamta Misram Punas Chirvan. Prahlad Maharaj says, not by lectures, not by classes, not by super pooper Gaura Purnimas. Of course, it's Patrida Samhita Tatparya. I'm just so many festivals we have, so many classes we have. But still, what to do? No enthusiasm, and sometimes difficult to wake up for Mangalarati because, no Shakti. So disciple asking Bhaktan Saraswati, what to do? I'm chanting Krishna Krishna Hari Hari Brum Brum, but no energy. And he said, because worms eating everything inside your stomach. You're eating, but worms are there. Therefore, you're not getting weight. You're all dubla patla. So similarly, we manage Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. This is 16 rounds of Namaparadhas, sometimes. And because of material desires inside, they're eating all enthusiasm. Broken. Tanki broken. Our tanki. We are pumping, but it's broken here. Ayaram, Gayaram. So, and then another problem. Sometimes, so many problems, isn't it? Padam, yadvi padam. So another problem, motor may be there, supply is there, water is there, electricity is there, tanki is super. He can make it super nice project. Tanki. Golden. But pipe which connects the tanki with the motor is not tight enough. It's loose. There is no pressure between the tanki and the pump. So water in between, there is a hole in the connection. So therefore not enough pressure. Connection between disciple and guru is not enough. So that's what we're going to discuss today. That was introduction. This is a secret. How to get the tanki full. And when tanki is full, it's flowing naturally. No need to susukham kartumavaya. And we read the shloka today from 25th sloka of 15 chapters, Canto 7. Raja, please kindly repeat. Rajastamascha sattvena. Sorry. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Rajastamascha sattvena. Rajastamascha sattvena. Sattvam chopasamena cha. Etat sarvam gurau bhaktya. Etat sarvam gurau bhaktya. Purusho hi anjasa jayet. Purusho hi anjasa jayet. Rajastamascha sattvena. Rajastamascha sattvena. Sattvam chopasamena cha. Sattvam chopasamena cha. Etat sarvam gurau bhaktya. Etat sarvam gurau bhaktya. Purusho hi anjasa jayet. Purusho hi anjasa jayet. Let's go ahead with translation and commentary, okay? Since we have very little less time. Okay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One must conquer the modes of passion and ignorance by developing the mode of goodness. And then one must become detached from the mode of goodness by promoting oneself to the platform of Shuddha Sattva. All this can be automatically done if one engages in the service of the spiritual master with faith and devotion. In this way, one can conquer the influence of modes of nature. Purport. Just by treating the root cause of an ailment, one can conquer all bodily pains and sufferings. Similarly, if one is devoted and faithful to the spiritual master, he can conquer the influence of Sattva-guna, Rajaguna, and Tamoguna very easily. Yogis and Gyanis practice in so many ways to conquer the senses, but the bhakta immediately attains the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the mercy of the spiritual master. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. If the spiritual master is favorably inclined, one naturally receives the mercy of the Supreme Lord, and by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, one immediately becomes transcendental, conquering all the influences of Sattva-guna, Rajaguna, and Tamoguna within this material world. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. If one is pure devotee acting under the directions of the Guru, one easily gets the mercy of the Supreme Lord and thus becomes immediately situated in the transcendental platform. This is explained in the next verse. Om Jnanatirandhasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayit Nashta Prayesva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavachuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishliki Yam Swanubhavamakhilam Shuddhisaramikam Adhyatmadi Pamatiti Tirchatam Tamundam Samsarinam Karunaya Purana Guhyam Tam Vyasasonupayami Guru Muninam Mukham Karuti Vachalam Padum Langayate Girim Tatkritatmaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinatari Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripasindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Once Srila Prabhupada, one devotee I was listening, he was sharing his realization. He came from airport and he went to pick Prabhupada from airport. When they came from airport, I think in San Diego, and they came and straight they went to the temple. And temple was just nicely built and centered there and everything painted. And Srila Prabhupada straight away went and started to see all the rooms with curiosity. Like, he's looking newly bought house, naturally feeling keen and curious how they make it, everything. And Srila Prabhupada, he was walking around walls and beds and he was just putting his finger, checking like this, trying to find the dust. And it's not the only single case. Srila Prabhupada went inside and started to check everywhere. And there was no dust. Then he came to the bookstore. I'm so surprised. Here you have everything. Shop, kitchen, temple, bookstore, DBT, everything, and sleeping room also. Super. This is really Sankirtan mood, like in our Sankirtan land. You have books, sleeping bags, deities. This is Sankirtan transcendental airplane, ship, Vimana. Unfortunately, it's not moving, but everything packed, transcendental packed. Deities, shop, and we need this center like this everywhere, not only in Bangalore, everywhere, every nook and corner. So Prabhupada came and he went around all the rooms and checking, and he came to the books and he also put that like this, no dust. And Prabhupada looked at this devotee and broad smile like this, like your Murti has. Broad smile, and he hugged this devotee so tightly and said, "Thank you so much." And that devotee started crying, He fell down under Prabhupada. No, thank you, Prabhupada, that you give us all this. You provided this for us. Our duty is to maintain it, make sure that there is no dust. Because material life means dust, isn't it? You try not to clean things, I don't know. You can keep on AC room, block everything still. Dusk still coming. So similarly, when you're going and you're chanting, sincerely doing some sadhana, putting very straight tilak and dhoti, going outside, but this material environment we are living in, just bombarding our eyeballs and ears, and naturally you become affected, isn't it? We all have this experience. It's like something 20 people smoking in the smoking room. You're not smoking, but you happen to be there. You're not smoking, but your lungs are affected. Because you're breathing the same environment. And when you're coming out, your clothes also smelling cigarettes or something like that. In the same way, Jaisa Sang Vaisaram, when you're staying in temple, in such a wonderful agarbatti, smoking this and that, by being in temple only, you can count. You've seen this experience. Now, oh, Prabhuji, you're smelling, you're very nicely smelling. Sometimes I am doing puja, and I have to put some nice fragrant oil to my Shila and, and deities. And then when you're coming, naturally, you're smelling also like this, right? You're not taking bath after puja. So you're coming naturally, you're an agarbatti. And after, if you're living day in and out like this, so naturally, your bags start to smell like this, everything. And you're coming to airport sometimes. And this is, counter. Where are you from? And sometimes in the West also. Sometimes you have to put pant and short, like you're going to Hong Kong or China or whatever, even in Russia. You cannot wear like this everywhere. But still, it's customs or something. Who are you? Are you Hare Krishna? Like that, because you cannot mistake Hare Krishna walas. In Russia, devotees, when they were distributing books, those days, I was recently hearing one class, Kirtiraj Prabhu and Harikesh Maharaj. So they were sharing how and Indradyumna Maharaj and Pravishnu Maharaj, those days, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, they went very secretly. And those days, nobody even knew who is devotee, who is not devotee. Because they had only chance to meet for 5 minutes because KGB was checking everyone, literally following you. And they, for each and every devotee, for main leading devotee, they had special KGB agent fixed. Personally, like Ananta Shanti Prabhu was first disciple, Prabhupada disciple, right? In 3 days. And KGB personally put one personal policeman after him. Whenever he travels in the Soviet Union, this guy had to travel with him. And how they captured them. So they didn't know even who is who. So the devotees are making small groups. That's how ISKCON in Russia survived. Not just one block devotees. No, they make small groups. 40, 50 people. And this group didn't even know who is the member of next group. It's like small cells, The devotees from this room, they never shared membership of that group. So in case this group will be caught, they will not be able to give any data of next room. So like that. And yes, they were distributing books also secretly. They had to, because Prabhupada said, distribute books. You want to please me in Los Angeles, famous. Print as many languages as possible, right? Anyway, so they did that. This long stories, really exciting stories, how they did it. Smuggled Bhagavad Gita through the border. It's such a risk. Risking their lives, literally. And they used to distribute these books printed in Ukraine. Our devotees, my friends, they were typing. We didn't have, when I joined also, we didn't have many books. Only 3 books. Bhagavad Gita, then Krishna book in Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. But, and Perfect Answer, Perfect Questions, I think, small books over there. And printed by hands. Because books like that, and before they had this printing machine. This. To make it, you cannot print so many books in one go. So one page, they used to put 10 copies, like all this paper, copy paper, and putting 10 this much. And then to smash it very heavily to make sure the 10th page will be, reached. Like this, it's only one page, but you have to smash. So it can go deep till 10. So this devotee who was printing in Dnepropetrovsk, this name in a city, we have Kharkov, Kiev, Dnepropetrovsk. So there's one city, the one devotee was staying there, and secretly in the flat, he was typing these books. And he said after some hours of such typing, he's bleeding, fingers and nails were bleeding, literally, because try to like kung fu, training like that, to make one single copy of book. And they were binding this and then hiding like this. And they're going in the street and they were distributing these books. And taking him some in the gully. This guy said, what happened? You know about yoga? I heard. I have one book for you. Like this, like secret, like they're smuggling something. This is another book. And can you imagine sometimes what happened? That person also, I also have one for you. Oh, Prabhu, what are you? Devotees, they didn't know each other, you see. That guy also had one. I have one, I also have. So like that. But they were so enthusiastic. They were ready to sacrifice their lives to spread Krishna consciousness movement. That's why you can see nowadays Russia, Russia, Rishi Muni, Russia. Actually, it's true. Because, so many temples discovered of Ganesh, Shiva, etc. Unfortunately, people forgetting this culture. To reestablish this culture, we need to make endeavor. It never happens automatically. And main quality to receive that mercy, right? Mercy. We can get this sort of knowledge. We can get. But how to live that sort of knowledge and sharpen it, every day, the dust. When you're fighting, in the battlefield, that sometimes sword getting dull because you're beating, and it becomes dull. You have to every day you have to sharpen it. So that's what we are doing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. In association with devotees, in holy place, with chant holy name, in a holy day, right? In a holy place. So we have to just do this. And unless you chant and you're sharpening your consciousness every day, you will find yourself very difficult to challenge this environment because people thinking nonsense and we have to adjust to their opinion, right? Because they think they're establishing the principles of culture. They're the modern crazy society setting up the principles of life, how they want to live life. And what to do? We have to adjust to that society. Why we have to adjust to that society? Why they will not adjust to our society? So this is very, very important to establish these principles of. But how to? We have the knowledge how to do it. We have the knowledge. Civilized society, according Bhishma Pitamaha, he was explaining, right? This is protecting cows, women, children, old people, and sadhus. 5. Society where women, children, cows, sadhus, and old people not protected. It's not civilized society. And by chance, I will not go into statistics, which I did statistically. You check how many cows slaughtered, how many women divorced or whatever, they just abortions and stuff, neglected. How many children, child labor or whatever, so many orphans going on and smoking cigarettes and drugs, intoxication, rehabilitation centers. How many old age houses are there? Not to make class depression. So I will not tell you the statistic, but it's very depressing. And how many sadhus neglected? And where are the sadhus? Where is the sadhus? No sadhus. Now even, of course, in here, some cultural roots are very deep. But I tell you, even in the north part of India, or even in Nepal, the only Hindu country in the world, cow slaughtering introduced, right? So many nightclubs. In one year, one time, they opened 2,000 nightclubs only. And it was like julus of prostitutes. We want job. And then it was like there's one mighty Nepal organization, Mrs. Kerala. I'm very close relationship with them. We are working ISKCON and that women protection rights. They're getting fake marriages and then exporting women in different countries for nightclubs, whatever. And when they completely misused there and broken down and already of no use, they're sending them back. Right. I don't want to tell you many details, she told me. And they're coming, where they will go? They will go back to home. And they're going, and they don't know anything else, but this is the only profession they need. So they start to do that. And they need nightclubs, right? Etc., etc. That's how modern society channelizing them toward the hell. Everyone, any aspect you take. So unless some group of individuals team together, everyone achieves more. Unless the group of devotees, bright-minded people, stand up and stand very strongly, like this, together, right? For those who are sleeping. So people have to stand very strongly for principles. And it's going to, bull is going to fly. It's not like you're standing and you'll be invincible. No, you sometimes also can bleed. Sometimes you can get caught by the enemy's sword. Kali Yuga is there, he's not sleeping. Krishna consciousness is not the Shanti, Shanti, Dhan Sampatti, Ghar mein aave, Jai Jagadish Hare. Doesn't work like that. There's not Hindu, no Bindu business, no. Putram dihi, rupam dihi, jnanam dihi, swaha, dhan sampatti ghar mein aave, first class banave. No, it's not like that. It's actually challenge. Srila Prabhupada said, this is the challenge. How long are we going to sit and sleep and have comfortable life? Spiritual life actually out of comfort, out of the box, a little bit. Not too much. We don't want dead heroes, but we need a little bit extra muscles. And in 6th Canto Bhagavatam, 10th chapter, shloka number 6, very easy to remember. That's how I remember in this. 6th and 6th. You read commentary of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada very clearly writes, modern society is on the degradation path. Very dangerous situation. Therefore, this Krishna consciousness movement requires many men and women enlightened by knowledge. What? Why do we need them? So they can sacrifice their lives. Not just come for Sunday program Agarbatti Mambatti 4237. There's no sacrifice their lives for this movement, for establishing Krishna consciousness in this planet. Therefore, Prabhupada 2 times mentioned sacrifice, not even dedicate, not even just to spend some time for spiritual practices. No, sacrifice their life, not less, not more. That's life success. 10 Canto Bhagavatam, Krishna explains whose life is success. Etavam janma safalyam dehinam yadehishu pranair arthir dhiyavacha shreyastat acharanam sada. He says that pranair arthir dhiyavacha. Etavam janma safalyam. He glorifying the trees in the Vrindavan. So these trees are like saintly people. They're sacrificing everything. Their bark, their wood, their flowers, their shadow. Even you cut it, still gives its life to the service of humanity. Similarly, saintly people, whatever you do to them, they will be serving. You throw stone at them, they will give you flower. That's Nityananda Sampradaya. Nityananda Trayadashi is coming. So Srila Prabhupada, this is the mood actually. This is not to do with external tilak and just man, woman. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Naham vipro na chanarapati na pi vaishyo na shudro. Naham varni na chagrihapati na vanasto yatirva. Kintu pradyur Nikila Paramananda Purnamritabdhir Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur Dasa Dasa Anudasa. So we are servant of the servant. We are nothing to do man, woman, brahmachari, grihasta, brahmastra, doesn't matter. Brahmastra means who is not brahmachari, not grihasta, brahmastra. And I can see many brahmastras sitting here. Not red, not yellow, not. I was telling in previous class that in ISKCON we have 2 emergency services. One is fire brigade, another one ambulance. Right? White and red. And they're always going when there is some dangerous situation. No? When fire brigade is there and fire is there. Sometimes fire in Bangalore, no? Do we have fire sometimes?
Lake.
Huh?
Lake we have fire.
In lake? Oh no, really?
It's poisonous fumes.
Correct. out of diesel. Huh? So fire is there sometimes on the high floor. And what happens is a fire, car comes. And then this car comes, they have this ladder, Siri. And then this guy has special uniform, protection, helmet, everything, glass. Even that cannot protect you for a long time. If you can go for 5 minutes and you're not coming out, you can also burn. Even though you're protected, you have Kavacha and Simha Kavacha, 16 rounds. If you're too much hanging over there, Sitaram. But sometimes you have to come down. Head in the sky, it's okay, but you keep your legs on the ground. We have to have a guts to come down to these fallen souls. But without Kavacha, without morning program, without chanting, without association, it's like that same game, Kabaddi, you know. Kabaddi, 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 kabaddi. As long as you are having oxygen, you can pull somebody. But if you don't have oxygen, kabaddi, kabaddi. Gaya vichara. So this association with devotees is like transcendental oxygen, pumping every morning. Nityam Bhagavata Seva. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Full balloon. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Then you can go and bring everyone here back to temple. Even they all come, hey, you crazy, pagal, pagal, pagal. Kaka, mama, chacha, pita, everybody can come, catch. You crazy? Yes, I'm crazy. You just catch. Hare Krishna, and bring them to Sunday program. Provided you have that guts, you know. But if you don't have guts, Hare, Kri, Nina, Tamuguna, Rajuguna. You cannot charge your battery. What you can speak about others. So how to do that? So coming back, I was just telling you that this is the secret. How to clean this dust? Tendency, this humility, pride, tolerance. Opposite, what is it? Tolerance, impatience. You know, so many opposites in this world. But we have to be determined to get out of that. One student, he went to the exam and he was having an exam on English. And his test was to speak opposites. So professor, student sitting. It was Indian student. Sometimes, you know, Indian accent. Pipti, porti. And Americans, I know, to understand American language, you have to put some boiled aloo inside. Hello, how are you? It's like inside aloo. And French people, they speak in Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So all languages. And in Russian, they say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So all languages are different, no? So this devotee, he came to a professor. I go, okay, opposites. Tell me. Good, bad, day, night, black, white, ugly, pitchly. Wrong, correct. Get out, get in. You fail, I pass. So that's called determination. So material life will always make us fail. So many, in many ways, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, social, so many panchar. But what we have to do, every day we're standing up and taking shelter of devotees. In material world, there is always dust. And humility, especially tolerance. Unless you're humble, this is a secret, right? Tolerant and humble, like in the grass, tolerant as a tree, give respect to others, not expect vyasasana for yourself and garland. No need. People may give, but don't expect. Frustration comes that people doing not what you're expecting from. Then people freaking out, why he is not, why? And there's, pointing finger. Because of him. That's what I was just sharing with one devotee. We're blaming all world around us, but all world which is around us is nothing but reflection of who we are, nothing else. In Russia, we say this statement: don't blame the mirror if you have an ugly face. Don't blame the mirror. Нечего на зеркало пенять, если рожа кривая. This is a statement. So similarly, we have changed ourselves, first dress, then address. And you'll see all world will reflect to you. People out there, only few pakka rakshasas. Otherwise, people, they're innocent. People, mostly, they're ignorant, I would say. Right? And if you can come and you just simply touch their heart. I'm telling you as a Sankirtan devotee, I distributed many, many years books. So people there just like, they space out completely. We have to grab their mind and put the tilak on their mind. Otherwise, they are space out. Manorathina sati dhavato bahihi. And you can never expect people to to lend their helping hand unless you touch their heart. And Srila Prabhupada touched so many hearts by his books, by his purity, by his lifestyle. And this humility never comes automatically, as you can guess, right? Humility, this is a process. Our acharyas explained that there are 3 principles in spiritual world which keeping spiritual world spiritual. You know, and the material world is mostly ritual. Other day I was mentioning also what is the difference between spiritual and ritual. Remember did you hear? Or do you know what's the difference between spiritual and ritual? Yes, you tell.
Srila Prabhupada and his con makes the ritual spiritual.
Correct. Ritual means 4, 2, 3, 7. 4, 2, 3, 7. 4, 2, 3, 7. So you're following this Vaishnava etiquette because I have to get initiation. You see? But spiritual means Srila Prabhupada plus ISKCON plus ritual. SPI plus ritual, spiritual. You got the point? Prabhupada teaching. We have to understand the mood, time, place, and circumstances. Spiritual life is not black and white. Left, right? Not like this. It's very flexible. We have to preach from realization. We have to understand what people feel. It's called paradukha dukhi, parasukha sukhi. And unless you come down to people's level, unless you're willing to remove your white gloves and involve yourself, sometimes, Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Bhakti Aloka, he explains what to do. We have to work, we have to go to the office. What does it mean, Jana Sangha? He explains, 6 things which are detrimental to spiritual life, which can become great problem for us. One of this association was, bad people, bad association. Asat Satyagi Vaishnavacha. There are several associations, Vishayi, atheistic, Gnostic, and then one is Dharmadvajis. Dharmadvajis means those by using the flag of Dharma, doing all nonsense, Mayavadis and stuff. What does it mean to not associate with them? We have to associate with people, isn't it, in this world? Every day we have to go outside. We are not cave, Gufa Baba. We are human beings. But he says association means on 6 levels. Dadati pratigrihnati guhemachati prichati bhunti budayati chaivat sadvidi pritilakshanam. This is association. Give gifts, receive gifts. To feed person, to accept food from him and eat. And to tell some secrets. Open your heart. And to listen all nonsense from them. Then you're associating with them. When they're sitting there, I'll tell you something. And then you got it. You got the virus. And no any Bangalore software engineer will save you. So deadly virus. Even coronavirus is nothing comparing to that virus, which is called Bhavaroga. Bhavaroga. Which can take you from life to Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Jatani Jatari Shainam. Dukkha Sansare Pahi Murari. No software engineers, only one software engineer, Srila Prabhupada came and uninstalled all these programs and restarted our program completely. That's real Bangalore computer engineer. Technology. So true. So humility means spiritual world. Our Acharya explains, I believe Jiva Goswami. He says that human being in spiritual world, Jiva, has 3 sentiments which makes Jiva happy. Living entity in spiritual world wants to see Krishna. Second, living entity in spiritual world, devotees in spiritual world, they want to see Krishna happy. They want to serve, right? They want to see, and they want to see him happy. They want to see, to get nourishment for themselves, like drinking with the eyes. Like I was reading other day, chapter yesterday, about the kings which Krishna delivered from Jarasandha. And when the kings in the jail, they were disheveled, dirty, because Jarasandha captured them and wanted to sacrifice to Kali Bhairav. And Krishna somehow freed them. And it's explained how kings, they were, by seeing Krishna, they were drinking him with the eyes, smelling his smell with the nose. All their senses were agitated by, could not enjoy his darshan. They were drinking him through their eyes. Like gopis, when Krishna comes from pasturing cows, right? Gopis, they cannot come, but they're drinking Krishna, and they're hearing about Krishna through the cups of their ears, and sometimes they cannot even come out from the house because relatives, they burn. Hey, don't see that black boy, okay? Sit home, look. But still they have some hole, in the wall or something like that. Small. So they're trying to see. Because they lock down. So they're looking. There's lockdown also there sometimes. So, but still they're so enthusiastic to see Krishna. And Krishna, being a Sarva Vyapi, he's, Sarveshwara, he's a Paramatma in our heart. He knows each and every thought. What do you want? Bhagavatam says, 11th canto, 3rd chapter, shloka number 49, 50. Shukadeva Goswami tells Parikshit Maharaj, my dear king, remember always Supreme Personality of Godhead. And at the moment of death, meditate upon him, because he is Sarvatma. He knows everything. And if you concentrate his mind on him, he knows what is your situation, and he will reveal you your original Swarup. Guaranteed. No need to do some Siddha Swarupa, Siddhanta, Ashtakale Lila meditation, Manasapu. No need. Meditation on Krishna. That's all. No need to go to Babaji, Sitaji, Pitaji, Mataji, this place, that place, Sita Baba, that. I was in Kumbh Mela. I was in Allahabad at the Yaksha. I used to organize the Kumbh Mela camps. Now Kumbh Mela going on, right? You heard. So I used to organize those camps for years and years, many years. And I have seen all this Baba, Naga Baba, Khara Baba, this Baba, Tantrik Baba, 1108 Maha Mandaleshwar Pagal Baba. Most of them Pagal. Why? Because they don't know who is God. Nunam pramatta kurute vikarmayat indriya prithaya prinoti. Sattva gross senses. But if you don't know Krishna, Aradhanam tadaharim tapasam tatam kim. Naradhanam tadaharim tapasam tatam kim. If you're worshipping Narayana already, no need to do tapasya. What is the use of your tapasya? Ho gaya, pahuch gaya. But if you don't do puja to Narayana, then what is the use of your tapasya? Wasting time. You got the point. So, what's the point, Prabhupada said? That's why Shastra says, no need to do heavy tapasya, sitting in the cold water and hot sun. I've seen in Haridwar, guys putting some gobar koila, burning it on the head, on the hands, and the 5 places, and sitting in the scorching heat. Oh, and putting fire like this around themselves. Jabardasti. Not in already plus 50 degrees. Why are you putting more degree? Main degree is inside. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Kamagni, Krodagni, Lobhagni. So much fire already inside. How to cool it down? So Rahugan Maharaj, he says, is Jad Bharat. Rahuganaita tapasana yati na chijjaya nirvapanat grihadva na chandasa nirvajalagni surya vinamahat padarajo vishekam. Dust from lotus feet of Vaishnavas, that's the medicine. Tapasana yati, no need to do extra heavy tapasya. No need to sit in cold water, hot water, or hot scorching heat. No need. What we have to get the dust from lotus feet of Vaishnavas. Mayasam padarajo vishekam niskinchananam navrinitayavat. Prahlad Maharaj says, padarajo vishekam. We have to do abhishekam with the dust of lotus feet of Vaishnavas. But it takes humility to do that. It doesn't mean that we have to go and cut the feet of Vaishnavas and put. Not like this. We have to get it. by their sweet will. And therefore it's explained, living entity wants to see Krishna, wants to make him happy, and want to serve Krishna. In the material world, exactly the same scenario, but only one problem. Not Krishna, ourselves. We're putting in the center ourselves, not Krishna. We want to see ourselves super pooper, big. I was just recently, if you didn't see, you can watch. There's one guy, one rivalry of Putin. He made one movie, exposing the movie's palace, $100 billion. You know, and the one command, this mirror only cost you $1 million or something like that. One mirror. Can you imagine how people want to be beautiful? So in their sleeping room, they have to such a commode with $1 million. You cannot buy this flat. How much is mirror cost? So people outside, sometimes in the material world, insane. Hiranyakashipu. So this is the bad opulence, you know, soft beds and everything. But we are in the center. We want ourselves to be, we are serving ourselves and anything, whatever connected to this self. And we want to be happy. But Prabhupada says, the real person, he understands that we have to cause the root of the problem. And then all body becomes healthy. Because we can put some ointment on the top, but if you have blood impure, you have to put some blood purification, isn't it? Purifier. Then otherwise boils will keep coming. What is the use of putting this ointment? So simply consciousness impure. And it's receiving knowledge depends on our quality, container, how much we can receive. And the beginning starts with the humility. And humility, we have to receive spiritual master. We have to come in contact with the spiritual master. And by the mercy, by pleasing spiritual master, we only can achieve success. Because all power comes from him. 7th canto, 15th chapter, same chapter, shloka number 45. Let me just see. Yes. And Srila Prabhupada explains that we can get the knowledge, right? To cut and sharp. But sort of knowledge means to destroy all this ignorance. But it's interesting enough. Yes. So it explains this. As long as one has to accept a material body with its different parts and paraphernalia, which are not fully under one's control, one must have the lotus feet of his superiors, namely his spiritual master and the spiritual master's predecessors. By their mercy, one can sharpen the sword of knowledge. And with the proper power of Supreme Personality of God and mercy, one must then conquer the enemies mentioned above. In this way, the devotee should be able to merge into his own transcendental bliss. And then he may give up his body and resume his spiritual identity. See? And then in commentaries, Prabhupada explains that one must sharpen the weapon by serving the spiritual master and adhering to his instruction. Then the candidate will get the mercy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. In general warfare, one must take help from his chariot and horses in order to conquer his enemy. And after conquering his enemy, he may give up the chariot and paraphernalia. You see? Similarly, as long as one has a human body, one should fully use it to obtain the highest perfection of life, namely going back home, back to Godhead. And of course, Prabhupada said, Achyuta Bala. You see, Achyuta Bala. By the Achyuta means Krishna. Gyanasim Achyuta Bala Dadhat Astasatruhu. Achyuta Bala. This is, we can get this power, Bala, Achyuta Bala, Krishna's mercy, by Guru's mercy only. Guru can give you knowledge and he can give you the power to lift the sword of knowledge. There is one king, Jai Singh, in Jaipur. If you've never been in Jaipur, you can see his museum. There's so many weapons there. And one of the sword, you know, Jai Singh, is huge, very heavy. Somebody told me even several men required to lift it. Nowadays, people, I think in Bollywood stars, some Kapoor, say when this make a film about what's called I forgot. This is about king married with that daughter, and the marriage with Jai Singh, kings of Jaipur, something like I forgot. Jodha Akbar, also that maybe that movie, I don't know, but they make movie there. So anyway, that king, he wanted to make that, original or kavach of those kings. So these guys, they came and put this kavach. He couldn't even stand up because so heavy it is. So they had to make plastic wala, Our hero so kamjor. Those kings, I was traveling in those areas so many times in the villages. People told me our grandfathers, they used to eat 7 kilo at one go. Like this bowl of chili, half liter of ghee, and 7 kilo of atta. Oh, super. Now you eat that much and you will sleep for 3 days to digest everything. So this guy had a sword, Jai Singh King, he had sword. Not only one, 2 swords. And he was operating like ninja. 2 swords. Nowadays, people cannot even leave those swords, what to speak. And we went to museum, underwear of this king, only 6 feet. Underwear when he was a small boy. I don't know how big king must be. Rajput, It's still there. It's there in museum. It's unbelievable. We cannot believe these things, but it's true. Bhima was so huge, in Dwapara Yuga. Everything now shrinking as everything becomes small and small in Kali Yuga. Our mind become very small and narrow. So that's why we need to have the power to leave that sword. And that not comes from us. It comes from Krishna. And I'll give the example of the, what do you call scuba divers? Or sometimes in big companies, like steel companies or ship company. They need to repair something under the ship. So they put in the scuba diver, the special helmet and ammunition, and they putting him jumping like this. But what happened? He's expert. He can do some molding things and screwing everything professionally. But he totally depends on the pipe, isn't it? However trivial it sounds like. No, he said, no, yes, exactly. If you cut off the oxygen pipe, you'll die in few minutes. So however expert we may be in this ocean of material existence, we totally depend on parampara, mercy, which is supplied by Srila Prabhupada. The moment you cut off from that parampara, you become asara. That's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is singing in his bhajan. Tomara karuna sara, yogyata vichare kichu nahi pai, tomara karuna sara. Sara. And somebody who cut off from the mercy of spiritual master, he's asara, Prabhupada said. In that commentary, he gives a commentary about that. That there are so many branches of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of our spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. He had many branches, big Sanskrit scholars, snoring in Sanskrit, as I said. But they disconnected from order of spiritual master. They didn't understand Manobhishta of Guru. What does he use? Decorating of dead body with so many alankaras. Nahi yat karma dharmaya, na viragaya kalpate, nahi yat tirtha sevaya jivanapi mrityu hisha. If you're not getting dharma or vairagya or opportunity to serve Vaishnavas, then jivanapi mrityu hisha. You are alive, but you are dead. And he gives example of one of the very prominent disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, whom he sent to London to preach. Spent enormous amount of money, was full respect to these glorious Vaishnavas because they have their own space and place in the historical plan of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We're not saying this in humiliation to them or just some criticizing him, no. But nobody can stop us analyzing. We have to get the historical realizations and not to commit the similar mistakes ourselves. We have to learn from mistakes of others. Confirm. Thank you. It's true. According to Shariraka Shastra. Once HG Patri Prabhu asked Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, whenever somebody is sneezing, psh, you're always saying confirm. Prabhupada did that. Or sometimes chipkali, confirmed. Prabhupada makes some statement and confirmed. And the HG Patri personally told me, I asked Prabhupada, is it any Shastric background? I mean, in the reference? Oh, yes, of course. True. So therefore, confirmed. Paramatma confirmed. Sarvatma. Otherwise, how to make emphasis? So where we were? Correct. No, it's later. So one of the prominent disciples, we have to learn from those incidents in life. He sent him for the same mission. Preaching movement all over the world. And he spent enormous amount of money. And Bhaktan Saraswati sent personally a huge amount of money to him to support, to make temple in London, whatever. And they did some preaching, whatever. It's okay. But when that disciple returned back to India, he met Bhaktan Saraswati said, and told him, with that level of education they have, with that kind of advancement, and with our knowledge, we cannot change them. Impossible to preach there. That's what he told him. And of course, directly to him, Bhaktan Saraswati didn't answer anything. He simply folded his hands and said, but I believe that the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be spread all over the world. I believe in the words of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not yours. Of course, he said, but I believe in the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction. That's all. He didn't tell anything to them, but to him. But then later on, to other sannyasis, he said, I don't want to see the face of this guy. Even till I will die, I don't want to see him. Even I will be dying, don't allow him to come. I don't want to see his face. True. And in one of the morning walks, Srila Prabhupada, he was mentioning that sannyasi, he got a message that Guru became offended, that he defined his order. And he went to some tantric or some Jyotish. And Jyotish told him, no, you have to do some Shiva Linga 108, some bell leaves, do some puja to Lord Shiva and then neutralize the Guru Avagya. And he did that. Prabhupada was surprised how he can neutralize Guru Avagya by some ritualistic ceremony. He did that. And as a result, he became Asara. He was the branch, but he dried out. And as a result, nobody can take knowledge from him. Nobody can take Sanskrit, whatever. He simply became mundane scientist, just mundane, and open engineering college in Vrindavan. Until date now, so many young people studying mathematics, geography, treasury, what's called treasurer, engineering college in Vrindavan, mundane scientist. That's all. Nothing to do with spirituality in the sense which Bhaktan Saraswati wanted him to do. Asara. So similarly, and Srila Prabhupada said, when he spread this Krishna consciousness all over the world, people glorified him. Swamiji, you're so great. But Prabhupada said, no. And I personally heard this statement. When they glorify, you opened 108 temples, you're so great. And Prabhupada folded his hands and said, Bap ka beta sipai ka ghoda, kuch nahi to thoda thoda. I am just small son of my Guru Maharaj. He's my father. It's everything. I'm Torah. That's all his glory. I'm getting mercy from him only. By his mercy, I was able to do this. Otherwise, who knew I'll come here? Who knew that he will send all of you and you are my spiritual masters? You are helping me, Prabhupada. And he was shocked and cried in a very famous lecture of Disappearance Day of Bhaktan Saraswati. All of you came to help me, and he broke down because he was very, very humble. Unless you become humble and taking that Padaraju Abhishekam, dust from the feet of Vaishnava means his order. Unless you're standing for something, you have to have the goal in life. Why are you doing what you're doing? For whom? We have to do it for somebody. And we should be very humble to do that because Maya will test heavily, up and down. And it's no question that you'll not fall down. You may fall down. But the main focus, main pinnacle that you have to be able to stand up and continue. It's nobody falling down unless you're walking. Unless you walk, who is not falling down? Who is not walking, he is not falling down. But if you start to do something, as Krishna says, every action will have imperfection. As a fire always has some smoke. You can expect perfection, utopia in this world. But Krishna accepts our mood. And then Guru will flood with the mercy. Tomara Karuna Sara. And mercy compared to ocean. When ocean flooded, sometimes it can become mountains and some crematorium and maybe some, ups and downs and holes in the ground, right? But when water is covered, flooded, it becomes smooth and beautiful looking, isn't it? Sunrise or sunset. Under the water, you cannot see all imperfections already. So similarly, the person who is flooded with Guru's mercy, he looks like super beautiful. Everybody loves him and he loves everyone. That's called mercy. And when such a person getting mercy, no need to think, did I get mercy or not? No, you will feel it. He always happy at any time and place. And whenever he goes, he speaks about Krishna. I wish today to you, my dear friends, to always stand. I wish today to you, my dear friend, be always joyful and to firmly stand. Let Krishna's mercy be in all your life when there is no one around in your life. And one more thing I really want to wish, you be yourself, like in the water fish. With every breath, you try to serve the Lord, destroy the darkness with the knowledge sword. Don't criticize all those who were lost. They are unfortunate and cannot pay the cost. For those who are blind, you lend your helping hand. Krishna can see this and will understand. From Lord's devotees, don't be far away. They always happy and they know the way how to please Shri Krishna and how to obtain his grace. They always joyful at any times and place. Let criticize them you and throw the blame. It will painful little bit will reduce your fame. Continue smile to them in friendly way, like sun is shining in a rainy day. Do not give up the fight inside your heart. Be always joyful. Do your duty part. And raise your nose looking at the sky and to remember Krishna, always try. Don't worry profit or the loss. Surrender life to Supreme Boss. And far and wide, try spread his fame by chanting sweet and holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Shall we ask one question? Just one, because we have a little bit less time.
Thank you very much for this class. Today, I would like to know how you came into Krishna.
Small question. For 2 hours. It's definitely. I can tell you the 90 minutes movie in 9 minutes. A little like Charlie Chaplin. But it's a long story. But actually it came because of the mercy of Vaishnavas only. True. And same. We're traveling all over the world, all these million universes, Brahmanda Brahmati Kuna Bhagyavana Jiva. But once we're coming in contact with a representative of parampara, and if he is somehow willing to share this overflow with you, so one drop of mercy can drop on you. It's not your credit. When dry land was watered by the water and something started to grow, It's because somebody put water there. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta Kore Udar. Somebody has to wake us. So that happened to us also. Long story, but somehow or other I met with devotees, and at that time I was in army, and I just came in uniform. And devotees were, somebody told me, oh, there's some special meeting going on. And I like martial arts, you know. And I was doing martial arts, and I worship Shaolin and Bruce Lee. So I had my temple and worshiping Jai Jagadish, Bruce Lee, Jai Jagadish. So like that. But oh, somebody from East came, monk. Wow, monk. I only heard Shaolin monks, you know. Interesting philosophy. I was interested in this philosophy. Though when I got Bhagavad Gita later on after that, you know, Bhagavad Gita, just Bhagavad Gita was Arjuna and chariot and battlefield. I said, so this is a book for military people. Wow. Cheaters, that is Hare Krishna people, cheaters. This is for military people. You're military man, yeah? This is for military people. See, war, battlefield, fighting. And you see fighting like super, it's like wow. Battlefield. Very interesting. And this is for VIP people, VIP. Only for VIP. You're VIP? Oh yes, I'm VIP. and I had my excellent diploma and of my college and whatever. So I was thinking something about myself. Super, as all of us, we are thinking in this material world, I'm special. Of course, I have to be humble. Yes, Prabhu, one chance. Not one chance, kalpatrubhyastya, long mantra, one chance, shortcut, one chance. Sometimes people are so lazy to speak all mantras, they sing one chance, kalpatrubhyastya. Very humble. So all of us, we are thinking that we are center of this universe. So many centers in this material world. You know, it's colliders happening. So I was one of those centers that time, big center, and all world revolving around me. And I am VIP, very important. Yes, of course I am VIP. That you are qualified. This book for you. So when I took this book, came back home. Okay, it's a small book. I'll read it down. And I open. Dhritarashtra Vachana. And then Sanskrit, Kalakshara Bhajvara. Saying for me, this side, Kalakshara Bhajvara. What is it? Googly Moogly, you know, like Chinese. What is this? And then I was trying to find out the name. Dhritarashtra Vachana. Took me 10 minutes. Wow, heavy book, huh? One line to read, it took me 10 minutes. What to speak of all book? See, and I used to read this book when I was very sleepy and tired. No need sleeping pills. So I was rather using this book as a sleeping pill. You know, coming from the office and Ajoni. Okay. One line enough to sleep. Because processor is so slow, you know. And it was 90s, you know. So in previous century, we have three main catastrophes, you know. Three main catastrophes in previous century. World War II, 1942. Nuclear bomb, 1945. And Windows 95. Greatest catastrophes. So anyway, I was just struggling to understand something. But when I completed after 1 year, I realized I'm VIP, very insignificant person. So like that. That requires a little bit of intelligence. Srila Prabhupada was giving lecture in one of the temples. He said, "Oh, you are fools!" And everybody, you know, when Prabhupada chastising everyone is the worst thing, you know. Nobody even dared to look up, you know. When Prabhupada was angry, something happens. Like in Tokyo, they had this initiation. Said, "Give me pushpani," and they make some rice. No, they give me pushpa. Oh, no, to do Guru Puja, pushpa. And one Mataji make pushpani rice, sweet rice, and brought the sweet rice. Nonsense! Give me pushpa. And TV station was there. Everybody in the live cast TV, you know, so many guest VIP games. And Prabhupada was furious. Nonsense! And all devotees were sitting like this, frozen. And everything is on live on TV. And Prabhupada like lying. Stop the program. Tomorrow we can continue again. Cancel the program. Prabhupada didn't care what's national TV or this TV, VIP. No. Things should be done for Krishna, no compromise. We cannot compromise absolute truth for the sake of pleasing some few TV stations. So that's what Prabhupada, when he was angry, you all fool! And everybody down. And one devotee said, yes, Prabhupada, I'm fool. No, except you, everybody fool. And then, why? Why? Because to understand that I am fool requires intelligence. That's why you are intelligent. So that's why the trees which have the fruits always bowing down. The trees which actually have fruits of knowledge, they become very humble. So anyway, I understand that I was VIP. But first time when I met devotees, it was like lecture given by one monk. He came with lecture and I came in uniform. And when I came and that it was secret meeting and I came in uniform, so he was scared that it's like some police came. I was not the police, but somehow or other he was thinking like that. And I removed my boots because the devotee told me you have to remove your boots inside. Okay, as unhumble I was, but I still removed. Because okay, this is culture. I knew they were Eastern culture. So I removed the boots and everyone still in uniform. I came and I didn't want to sit down like this because I saw this come aliens from different planets, pajama, all these bed sheets, sitting people, and everybody have antenna, shave and completely. I was scared actually. My God, some kind of deadly organization. Everybody sitting like strange cloth. But anyway, since I already came, let me just see what they're talking. And I was just standing. And I like to make some notes always. I had some note. And as an exemplary student, I always had some notes. And he was speaking the shloka from 7th canto, 7th chapter, 7th shloka. Mattah parataram na anyat kinchit asti dhananjayam sarvamadam pratam sutre maniganam. So that's what. Oh, that's very cool. Everything upon me is on thread, but I am not seen. That all like pearls on the thread. Everything can be seen, but I will not be seen. So, oh, that makes sense. Very interesting. Okay, and I started to make note of that point. And he maybe was thinking, oh, he's counting now, writing people. Because a few years ago, they used to count people, put in jail. Anyone who presents, police waiting outside. Everybody would be caught. But somehow I was not making lists, but I was just making notes, but he took it otherwise. So he stopped the lecture. And everybody started to stand up to, oh, this guy is about to leave. So let me run away first. Because otherwise, small door, tiny door, and so many people were crowd. I was stuck here forever. So let me run away first. So I immediately understand, okay, I went out. But believe me or not, it was like mountain of shoes outside. And I lost my boots. Because all devotees, there's no like shoe stand, nothing. It was like secret lecture. And everybody put up and going and throwing shoes like this in a big mountain over it. And I lost my boots there. I got one, but I could not find another one. So I'm standing very funny, one sock and one boot. What to do? And a small corridor, like exactly like here, small corridor. Only two people can, go one by one. So I still have to wait for my boot. I'm standing in this corridor and close to the wall. And this guru came out first. And all people behind, because nobody can go in front of him, right? So he came first. And he came and close to me like this. And it's a very short corridor. Very, very, very short and very, very narrow. So he came and stopped in front of me and looked at my boot and sock. And he was smiling. Could not be police. Because police will not care. They will come in boots and dirty boots inside. They don't care. Boom, boom. This guy is a little humble, in the sock. It means he gave respect to us when he came inside. So he processed the file and he smiled, you know. And by that, he perhaps became happy and satisfied. But by our behavior of removing shoes. It is explained in Shastra, I think, first canto, Prithu Maharaj. He says to Sarat Kumar that we have to be grateful to spiritual master. We cannot repay for whatever we have got. And somebody who's thinking he can repay whatever he got, we know the Patram, he's joker. He is simply joker. We know the Patram. He's a laughing stock. You know, laughing stock. If you're thinking you can repay, you're laughing stock. You're a joker. Nobody can repay whatever we have got. And we know the Patram also, it's explained that you can only please the saintly person who gave you this priceless knowledge by giving him handful of water. That's all. Like Ganges, Om Ganga Divyaya Namah. Ganga ji ka pani, Ganga ji ke. That's what you can do. Suraj ko deepak dikhana. You're taking the water of Ganga and giving back to Ganga. So we can give to the spiritual master just one Om Etani Pushpani Samarpayami. Just one flower. Because otherwise, what can we give? Nothing we can. Jogya to vichare ki ichu nahi paye. Like that. We know the Patram. He is joker. So therefore, to please, he look at me as a joker. Hey, joker. Moja jo hai na boot. Joker. So he slightly laughed. Slightly smiled. See, first it was intention, you know, some police, but then he smiled. Let's go by the mercy of Krishna, which comes to the spiritual master. You can get mercy of parampara. Prasada lesha nugrihita eva hi janati tattvam. Prasada lesha. Thora sa prasad chayina. Little bit, not 1 kilo prasad. No, you have to be humble. And if you are humble, even small drop of mercy enough for you. But when you are proud, you can get 1 glass of mercy, still not enough. One more. No, never enough. Why Guru Maharaj didn't look at me? Why didn't he laugh at me? I'm living Krishna consciousness because he never looking at me. Proud fellow. No. But when we are humble, even Guru Maharaj will give you a little bit, 1 flower. For all your life, you will have enthusiasm. Guru Maharaj gave you. That will be enough for all life. If you're humble. Then you'll understand. As I said, you can understand only when you stand under. Understand, not upstand. You have to surrender. Surrender. So he looked at me, laughed at me, and then he looked at my eyes for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and silence. 100 devotees silence, pinch drop, you know, like you can, mosquito will fly, you can hear. And he's looking at me and looking, and I was thinking, what's going on? My mind becomes a inside. Why he's looking at me like this? And then silence, you know. And after a few more seconds, he just simply very loudly looking at my face. Haribo! I'm giving only 10% of the sound. Which and I was sweating like why? When I was sliding against the wall. And he went, and all the words like too fun. And then finally, when everybody took their shoes, I found my boot. Finally, I went like after sauna and steam bath. Ooh, these people, dangerous people. And then I was walking in the corridor. Believe me, seriously, I saw one guy sitting with a bed sheet covered like this. And I didn't know at that time what he's doing, but now and I was, my God, very dangerous. Later on, I understood that he was chanting snake, snake, hiri, hiri, brum, brum. That's how I became devotee. And I myself now chanting snake, snake, hiri, brum, 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 because I have to go for snake, snake, hiri, brum. Like that. But I still have some hope. Because Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy is very, very mystical thing. You know, Guru's order, Guru's mercy. If you're trying to repay, more you're trying to repay this debt, you know, debt, rin, Guru rin. More you're trying to repay repay the train, more it grows. More you're paying for that, more it grows. More responsibility you're taking, more it grows. Oh no. And if you stop repaying, okay, I'm not going to pay. It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. I will not pay at all. Finish. No need to pay. It will reduce. It becomes zero and it will go. You'll have no any rin, along with Krishna consciousness go also. Rin goes and Krishna consciousness also go. And you became again Swatantra. Enjoy for billions of millions of lifetimes here in the material world. But those who are taking responsibility, you're doing more and it's growing more. And Guru tells you, take more. Prabhupada, we distributed 1,000 Bhagavad Gitas. Very nice, double it. Srila Prabhupada, we did 2,000. Very good, double it. Go to Russia. And he took his globe, globe, geography. And all the watching. And Prabhupada closed eyes. Brahmananda going to Africa. And Tamal going to China. No, Prabhupada, yes. Like that. And you go to Europe, and Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, that time not Maharaj, hey, you going to? India. No. Canada. You go to Montreal and become temple president. Temple president? Which temple? You construct temple and become temple president. And there were young people that time, just young people, few months in Krishna consciousness. And nowadays, people are in Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, super, pooper, 3 initiation, 5 initiation, whatnot, big, mota tiglak. Oh, Prabhu, can you wash the plates after Sunday feast? No, Prabhu, I am Brahman. Very difficult to depend on anyone. Isn't it? Prabhuji, can you come and do puja? I am busy, I have office. So many reasons. So that's why the statement. Who wants, he will find the opportunity. Who doesn't want, he will find the reason. And nowadays, we're giving so many reasons. Why? Therefore, it's very important to understand Manobhishta. 6, 10, 6. Homework for you, read, last paragraph. To sacrifice your life. Then your life becomes successful. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Grantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanande. Thank you very much. Hare
Krishna. So, we don't have any words to share our gratitude for Prabhuji. I know he has another appointment at 10:30. Is very far, but still he stretched himself because he knew that all the dull sparks here, and he's the only person who can fan that spark and make us.
Because he went for yatra, so and I got better charge from him. That's why.
So yes, we were there in Yatra 2 days back, and Prabhuji was giving his association even to the fishes in the lake, so that they can become the devotees.
And what a dogs also.
Yes. So we are very, very fortunate. We cannot really understand how fortunate we are by coming in association with Prabhuji, because he really brings that energy and enthusiasm in all of us, so that we can not dedicate, Prabhuji said, sacrifice ourselves. Sacrifice ourselves and at the lotus feet of Guru and Gauranga. Yes, it's a huge opportunity, huge fortune that is awaiting upon all of us. And it's such a wonderful family that Prabhupada has created, with such a elder brothers and uncles and so many who are there to come us, guide us, inspire us, enthuse us, so that we can take this process very seriously and sincerely, without any other motive, and in a humble way. So please, we request and we beg at the lotus feet of Gandharva Giridhari, Mahaprabhu and Lakshmi Narasimhadev and all our Guru Parampara to shower their choices, blessings to Prabhuji, so that he can continue to shower his blessings upon all of us. So let's chant from our heart loudly, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Million times louder, please. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Billion times louder. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you very much.
I said earthquake only in Nepal. And you are all ministers of earthquakes.
Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for joining our Sunday class.
Hare Krishna. We have meeting with some Raghavendra Swami Sampradaya.